Pressing record. Okay. Let's see. um, Give me 1 second, everyone. Let me just fix something really fast. Okay. All right. I'm sure people will continue to roll in a little bit, but let's just let ourselves sink into this experience. You know, everybody in the room right now has a fair amount of experience with meditation. And so you know that what that means is that from deep within yourself, you have to stop. Stop scrambling. Stop running around. Stop dreaming up solutions to problems in your personal story. Stop everything. And just let it all fall to the floor. Why is it okay to do that? Because if you don't do that, you have no control over your life. Life is a never-ending parade of images filled with feeling. Images that are storing feeling. And the only way to stop is to stop. They build and build and build until it all gets so busy and so all-encompassing that you don't even know who you are without it anymore. But like anything that has gained its own momentum, the only way to stop is to stop. So right now, from deep within yourself, just take a deep, free breath. Let your attention fill the banality of this moment. Don't ask to be entertained. Don't ask it to be any different than it is. Just stop. Funny thing is, if you really do it, there's really nothing boring about what remains when you get yourself out of the way. It's living freedom. Every moment new. Every moment a clean breath. So let's step into that together. Attention at the forehead and crown. Eyes open and just sort of resting on a spot in front of you. And just be in this vast moment where nothing in particularly relevant to you is happening. Nothing that feeds your personal story. So to anybody just coming on, The invitation is to stop from the depths of your being. Stop seeking, stop scrambling. Stop asking the moment to be any different than it is. And in that stopping, your consciousness is safe to unfold into this moment. You don't know this because you've numbed yourself out in order to keep up with the insanity of your personal stories. I say you, but the truth is, the same thing happens to me. You have to stop so that it becomes safe to feel again. You're capable of deeper feeling than what gets you through a day. Step out of the story, into this moment. Let it all come to a stop. And in the safety and comfort of that stopped place, from the center of your being, let your awareness unfold. Let your consciousness unfold so that you can really feel this moment with every fiber of your being. Make it safe to feel again. It's why people take vacations, isn't it? You get away from your story, and it makes it so that it's safe for you to just really open up. Marriages get renewed. Motivation gets renewed because you have time to actually heal. But why wait for something that happens once or twice a year? Do it now. Let it all come to a halt. And from the depth of your being, in that safe space, let your consciousness expand into the moment. Open up and feel it all. Let's do that together for a while and then we'll talk. How free are you going to let yourself feel? It's up to you. What if you just let go of anything blocking the flow of energy in your body, the flow of awareness in your body? What if you just dropped the fight entirely and let it all flow? Nothing to defend, nothing to protect yourself from. Free from the mental filters of your personal stories. You just let it all flow. I wonder what you're capable of feeling in this moment. In this moment, you are not a mother or a father or a child. You are not an employee or a boss. In this moment, you are neither educated nor ignorant. In this moment, you just are. In full awareness, you just are. You don't need any crutches to comfort you. There's no story to heal in this moment because you're letting it all go. And you're going to sit in freedom and breathe with what's left, which of course is everything. The entire universe that you ignore all day long. This vast living moment that you ignore all day long. The only mirror in which you can see your true reflection. The only mirror clean enough to show you what you are. Sit in that space. There's nothing to figure out. Just experience what it is to be you, the real you, unfiltered. Renew your focus. I can feel one of you getting very busy. Sink into this moment. Step into the stable rhythm of this moment. It's not just a gift you give yourself, it's a gift you give everybody who attends this class. When everybody is reaching into their true self, it magnifies everything. It creates a resonance where your effort has more power. You get more for the same amount of effort. So give that gift to yourself and give that gift to others. Let simple things be simple. nothing to complicate. Let simple things be simple. You have to stop completely. "99% is not enough." Your true self comes forward when you stop completely. 100%. When you do that, everything that was depleted in you starts filling back up without you having to do anything. You just have to stop. Cast off your burdens. Just lay them down. And stop. Okay. Let's come out and just talk a little bit. You know, when you step back into your normal life after this class, it's going to come back in very quickly. I think we've all experienced that before, right? You leave a meditation class squeaky clean, and then all it takes is the sound of an email going off, or even just the thought of checking your email, or, you know, the thought of some person in your life. And instantly, an entire matrix of being comes back into the space all at once. Something that you would almost think would have to be meticulously built, and yet it's all just there at once, ready to come screaming back in. The stories of your life are built organically. They arise out of the soil of this human experience. They have their own checks and balances in place for the flow of power through your relationships and the roles that you play. What's powering those stories is your consciousness. The stories themselves are just filters. They're just filters that consciousness can flow through. And as that consciousness flows through, they contain a mood. They contain a feeling. You know, it's no different than the way you play with lighting in a room to try and make it feel differently. Those stories are containers for feeling, but they themselves are not alive. That life is coming from you and from the other units of consciousness in your life, the other people in your life. that are also flowing through their version of that same story that you're all interacting with. And it's complicated because there are many people involved, but it's also organic in that if it weren't stable, it would die. So there's something about it, even if it feels awful, that survives in your life. You know, with a lot of relationships, it starts off with you doing something because you're trying to seek pain and avoid pleasure. And then it can even descend to a point where you're just doing it because the idea of leaving it is more painful than the idea of keeping it, even though it's causing you pain. And other people are functioning similarly within it, and all of it is just creating a matrix that self-sustains, a structure that you can easily plug your energy into simply through giving any piece of it your attention. And the second you do, everything connected to that story comes back over you like a cloak, like clothing that you have a hard time taking off, an identity that's not really what you are. It's just what you've chosen to participate with. But you're the power. And you're choosing to plug yourself in to that energy system, to that system of filters. You know, if you look at religious life, it does the same thing, only it does it consciously. It creates rituals that have their own story, their own mythos, a system of stories that has its own feeling, but it's an intentional feeling system. And you plug into it. It's unfortunately, most of them are less organic than your actual, than the stories that just got put together by the evolution of you. You try and shift yourself over to it, but it never feels as true, even though it's no less true. In this class, all I'm asking of you is that you wake up to the story itself. You do that by stepping out of it. It doesn't have to be never to return. It's okay to participate in a story. It's okay to plug yourself into something. It's also okay to experiment with creating more functional stories to plug yourself into. Or to take some of the energy systems that you're already a part of and just change how you view them a little bit. So that when you plug into them, the feeling of those stories is different. It's also okay to turn your back on them and never, ever participate in them again. There's no should here. But stuck is stuck. Trapped is trapped. Asleep is asleep. And I don't think any of you would ever consciously choose to be stuck, trapped, or asleep. And so through our meditation, through experiencing who we are outside of the story, we come to a place where we can see what we're participating in for what it is. We don't pretend it's any more real than it is, and we don't pretend it doesn't exist either, because it does. You know, it's like if you had a glass that was shaped like a turtle and you poured water into it. The water's in the shape of a turtle. Is the water a turtle? No. You just see it for what it is. It looks like a turtle because that's the filter I poured it into. If turtles are upsetting to me, I can stop filling that filter. Maybe replace it with something else. Or maybe I don't pour water that day. I think the value of a class like this, though, is that it teaches you the simplicity of it all. The structures that you've built with everybody are complicated. You could never be on top of them 100%. There's so much feeding into them. But whether or not you engage with them is not complicated. It's as simple as whether or not you plug yourself into that outlet or not. Whether you plug yourself into that system of wiring or not. When do you plug yourself in? How long do you stay plugged in? If you catch yourself starting to fall asleep, do you pull the plug and get clear on who you are without it again and make that more important than the story? Because it is more important than the story. Whatever you achieve in this life is going to rot inside your head before you know it. It's not a reason not to achieve, but it is definitely a reason not to get lost in it. So it's about seeing things the way they are. That's the gift of these teachings. What you do with it is up to you. There's no dogma here. I'm not here to hand you a religion. You can take it back to your religion or to your non-religion or whatever you want. What we're talking about is sanity. You'll go through times where you have to participate in difficult stories with difficult people. It's okay. But do you have a commitment to pulling yourself out of that on a regular basis and cleaning yourself off? That's what's important. It'll keep you healthier. It'll keep you younger. And it'll keep you moving forward. Are there any questions about any of that? Okay. Let's go back into meditation for a little while. Just get ourselves super, super clear. Super freed up. And then I'll let you get back to your night. Let everything come to a stop. And from that stopped place, let your awareness emerge and stretch out to take in this moment. Okay, everybody. Is there anything anyone wants to talk about or ask before we close up? Anything at all? All right. I'm going to let you get back to your night. I will see you next week. I hope you all have a good week. Thank you. You too.